does the measurement translate into what we're hearing? Some people say measurement is really important. Some people say sound matters. It's not conventional measurement in a way, but you translate those measurements into what you hear in a way, right? So how does it translate?
Let's answer that in two ways.
Yeah.
First of all, at YG, the whole team is trying to build speakers that everyone will enjoy.
Right.
So yes, my ears are really important because I'm the designer, but we don't believe in golden ears. We try to get as many people as possible. We do blind listening sessions, mainly in Cambridge, with as many people as we can find. And we ask them to compare either two designs that we've made or our speakers and other people's speakers. And we use that feedback, that understanding to guide our measurement. Because
but the blind test itself, if the person is not really experienced with the blind test, it causes a stress so that they can make different decisions.
It can, but there's consumer testing and this approach to it's typically ABA testing is, fortunately, there are lots of techniques you can use to calm people down, to get them to be relaxed, to get them to try to just enjoy the process. The other thing is we try to find people who are into music or who are musicians, or because it's important for us. It's great if there's some audiophiles there, but we want people who have a good understanding of music. But can have a fresh perspective on what they're listening. Because for us, it's really important. If I build a pair of speakers which are magic for me, but not magic for you, then there's a problem. I want to come up with something where if we're chasing this magic experience, it will be great if everyone experiences. But the really funny thing from these tests is it is actually common. So when a system does, it's a terrible word. I don't know how to explain it. That's why I keep on using magic. There's this moment where it's just wow, and everything is right. And like, this is why I listen to audio systems. This is beautiful. It turns out when that happens, everyone agrees it happens. Everyone in the audience has the same response.
So it doesn't have anything to do with the personal taste or preferences?
This sense of realism. Now, what they can say is, okay, each person has preferences on top of that. They can say, this is a bit too bright for me, or I wish there was more bass. But that magic, the sense of the walls disappearing, happens to everyone. And what we've been trying to do, I use the word magic. Of course, I don't believe in magic. Everything is measurable. We have to work out what to measure. It's like any other advanced area of study. So what we do is we use the listening tests to guide our measurement. In the same way, as I said at the beginning, it's very good to let's say, have this very coherent phase response. There are other things which actually matter a lot less. Having a ruler flat amplitude response, actually human ears don't care. I'm not saying have massive variations in it, but small variations in the amplitude response, people don't care because in the end, the room impacts much more than that. We learned so much. The human ear's reaction to second order distortion versus higher odd order distortion. Actually, small amounts of second order distortion, some people like more than not having the distortion.
That's actually what Nelson Pass say.
Exactly. Some of the stuff that we've discovered, I don't want to talk about because there are secrets. But it's amazing how we find these very clear patterns in what's good, and they guide our measurement. And when we first started, we would build a theoretical model. Say the cairns, which are the smallest model in the peaks, were the first speakers that we made. We would build the first theoretical model. We would build the speaker. It would sound good. I remember the first time I listened to it. It was beautiful. It was this moment, magical moment for me. But we would then have to tune the model. We'd do some more measurements. We'd learn more. Slowly, this is converging to a point. The XX, which is the newest speaker we've come out with, we built it on the basis of our modeling. We built the first prototype, and the first prototype is actually the production version.
Oh,
it
really?
was perfect. It matched our simulations exactly. When we listened to it, everyone was happy with how it sounded. And so the good thing is, as you learn, things converge, and it becomes an easier process.
In the past, YG didn't have side-firing subwoofers, right?
No.
How did you come? Who came out with that side-firing subwoofer?
It's really a practical solution.
Really?
We have customers on the one side who love the XV. It's 4 towers.
Right.
And it's interesting, actually, in the last 4 or 5 years, there are more and more other manufacturers who are going down. We brought the XV out 10 years ago now. And the experience at the time, it was one of the very first 4-tower systems. Now you look, Sonus Faber has just come out with a 4-tower. Griffin has a 4-tower. For some people, that's wonderful. They like it. For other people, they just don't want 4 towers. It doesn't fit in their room. But they want the very deep bass capability and the massive dynamic range. So you have to work out, where do you put the additional bass drivers? And the only real solution, if you want to keep when we talk to our customers, our distributors, our dealers, the fact that from the front, the YG loudspeakers are very thin and look quite elegant was something that they all liked. So the only real solution is to use side-firing drivers. It introduces its own challenges. You have to make sure that from a listener's perspective, those side-firing drivers are perfectly phase coherent with the mid-bass drivers. So you have to design a crossover that actually time aligns in the analog domain, all of those. Fortunately, we know how to do that. When I started, on a theoretical level, I much prefer forward-firing drivers. It's an easier thing to model. It makes more sense to me as a physicist. But we came to a point where, if you look at the impulse response, the distortion characteristic, the phase alignment, we've managed to get those side-firing drivers to be just as good as forward-firing drivers. And it gives you this additional tuning capability. For larger rooms, if you face them outwards, they do a great job of energizing the room. And yet we've had the XXs sound quite good in quite small rooms, surprisingly small rooms, with the side-firing drivers facing inwards, so they face each other.
Then if you put it inward, should the components in the middle would matter to the sound? I
think each component has a different reaction to microphonics. For most components, it doesn't matter. For example, using valve-based amplification, it does matter. I would generally not put the valve amplifiers in the middle if they're firing inwards. How about the sound-wise, acoustic-wise, in a room? Will that affect it in a way? Not much, because your ear doesn't have much directional differentiation at the frequency response. Those are very low frequency drivers, because we have mid-bass drivers that carry the bass down to 30, 35 hertz and then hand across to those. It's effectively acting more like a subwoofer. It doesn't, in my experience, it doesn't have that much impact.